Hi guys, it's Michael here. It's going to be a very quick patch overview today. I just wanted to very quickly talk about the patch that has just dropped. Please remember to subscribe, like and comment if you would like to kind of share your thoughts about this. So Age of Empires 4 new patch is going to be out next week apparently, which is very unexpected because they said winter and it was looking like it was going to kind of come really late into the winter, like maybe in December, maybe even January. Turns out it is actually going to be next week, and they say it is going to be 100 plus balance and bug fixes, which is quite a lot actually. I'm surprised they managed to master up so much stuff over this very short time, and they did actually include some very relevant changes. So just kind of go over those. They only give you the major points over here, so you do not get to see the 100 plus balance and bug fixes yet. But those are really major things overall, so I think it's kind of interesting to see, this being posted actually. So first of all, it's a very big nerf to the French, apparently. So they're going to reduce the efficiency of the hulks, which are those very heavy ships of the French that can basically demolish any sort of arrow ship other civilizations have, which means apparently like French will have to actually stretch some muscles to get things done on the water, which should mean that we'll have some more interesting matches on those water-ish maps. The second is actually the second nerf or update actually is kind of unexpected. These crossbows, spears, and elite crossbows are going to pose a greater threat to cavalry. It seems to be targeting directly the French, since we have spearmen in the mix over here. Of course, like the French are very oppressive with their early knights, so the Rus to some extent, but not so much, since those knights can't heal and the French knights can, so we can trade a lot more efficiently with the French. Now, those changes mean that cavalry is going to be definitely a bit weaker than it was, and it's kind of annoying if you do manage to amass like a large number of spears and you still lose to those veteran real knights or just regular knights of the opponent, right? So dealing with those should be easier now. I do think that especially the spearmen, who are already very strong in Scav, that's quite a surprise, right? But I do believe that this will probably mean that the French are brought in line, and other civilizations that can kind of take on the ground combat will surface. Maybe the HRE will become stronger as a result of this. Especially this does seem to target cavalry specifically, doesn't say anything about heavy infantry. So maybe HRE will see a lot more play because of that. Now, the second change is that they are reducing the cost of the Chinese repeater crossbows. So that's I really haven't seen this unit built much, let's face it, right? Because lots of units in the game are very heavy armored, so the repeater crossbows just don't do enough damage. They don't pierce the armor, which means they're relatively weak. Plus, you obviously need to get the dynasty to get this going, which is also quite a big effort. So I really think that this is a very decent change. Overall, like maybe we'll see some of those repeaters used. I mean, we all probably loved, the choke canoes from Age of Empires 2, so this should be a very good change. If you want to kind of, enjoy the fantasy of, those repeater crossbows being used by your army. So I do think this is interesting, but I'm not sure whether, like, maybe the unit isn't inherently flawed too much, and whether it doesn't require some major changes, maybe like getting some, armor penetration or something. Not sure. This unit has always been very underwhelming though, so I'm not sure how this pans out for the choke canoes. Going to the next one, actually, the Preload unit is going to, so the Prelates are going to be unbagged apparently, so they will continue inspiring after being pushed, which means that they're just, they're never going to bug out apparently. I think they recognize this was the source of the bug, so Prelates should be more viable now. You don't have to kind of look at them all the time to see whether they're like not bugging out. So that's kind of interesting. Maybe like all those things kind of coming together might mean that HRE will see some more play. That's interesting, of course, right? Because they were my favorite civilization in the stress test, but I really haven't played them too much now because they're just kind of feeling kind of underwhelming, especially if you know how strong cavalry is. So I do think that maybe this will bring them back to power as well. Of course, like this bug was very annoying. It would just subtract some of your economy for no reason. So maybe this kind of catches them up. Right, so that's kind of interesting of a change. They have Mongols and the superior mobility, which gave their buildings ability to move extremely fast, is going to be nerfed, which is very good as well, because that was just very frustrating to play against. They could basically migrate the entire base to the border of yours very quickly and just kind of go extremely aggressive, almost out of the blue, right? Very hard to catch up to that stuff, and it I actually lost a few games to, you know, the sudden run pushes where they just kind of moved all their production like next door to my base and just, you know, destroyed it with very quick number of like very weak units, right? Just kind of spammed them out and won the games. So I think that's interesting, right? In conjunction with those previous nerfs to the TC that can no longer just kind of be placed next to yours. I think that's pretty good. And finally, that very annoying bag for the Rus. I really haven't seen this used by my opponents, but apparently this is like something that people do. I think mostly in those team games, really, because I think 1v1 players are not too keen on abusing bags, I guess. So this is going to get removed as well. So there are no longer going to be any relic dupes, which is pretty good. Now there are some other changes. This one should cater to those Age of Empires 2 players, but this change is actually going to be only visible in those custom games. It's not going to mean that you can just kind of view your score in your regular game. You still have to just kind of use your common sense to judge your position in it. This being said, this should be very interesting to see overall, as you might expect it to kind of impact some practice games, right? I guess that's the only reason you would have that. I don't think we'll have it like, you know, turned on in tournament setting anyway. So that's something. That annoying Chinese dynasty button is gonna go to the corner. Very good stuff. Then we have the ability to view the post-match map. So that's, you know, just kind of the way like SC2 and Age of Empires 2 work. We can just kind of, you know, just see the map in the kind of final state of the game to judge whether you maybe have had a chance for something, or maybe you can check where your opponent's I know, proxy was, or where they had like an RTC, or where they're like kind of ninja basing across the map to get extra resources for free, right? Something that you can kind of learn and punish in your future games. That's very good, right? Obviously, having that ability to see, that's probably a very good change as well. Finally, they're also going to make some refinements to the in-game minimap. So that's sort of annoying too. You know, the fact that minimap is not the most legible thing in the world. So they're reducing the size of icons, ensuring wonder icon on the minimap matches the icon in the HUD, and that's kind of good stuff, right? It's very good changes overall. And obviously this, as all replays, as well based to all RTSs do, I think it will just disable your old replays sadly. So you just have to kind of, if you want to spectate something particular, then you probably just have to do it ASAP, because as soon, I would guess it's going to be Wednesday, because we have the big maintenances on Wednesdays. So I'd wager like next Wednesday is just going to drop and it will actually change quite a bit. So it's cool to see this. Actually, I like it quite a bit. Like I do believe that those changes are very important. Like the French superiority is going to kind of go down, I guess. Obviously, I think this also means that the meta changes, maybe shifts towards like maybe HRE, maybe Delay, all those kind of Abbasids as well, who seem to be very strong, but they're not really performing too well. I think this is going to be the general shift. I do think the Rus are very underwhelming at this point. Like they're very, I'd say they're like kind of difficult to play. They're quirky-ish mechanics, and at the same time they're not really that. I have not really seen a Rus player just perform extremely well in either tournament setting or in my own games. I think that's kind of something that might bring them up to a decent level. Though obviously the nerf to the knights for, you know, buffing certain units' capacity to fight them, I think is going to be still a weird interaction then for the Rus. I would like to see some horsemen buffs actually, because they feel very underwhelming right now. Maybe the elephants of the Delhi as well, they do feel like they're kind of meh. And finally, the Springles probably should be slightly tuned. Those are the things that I would also like to see here. Not sure if they kind of think of those or not, but I would really like to see some small adjustments to those particular units. Can't wait to see what exactly those 100+ balance and bug fixes are, because that's just kind of an outline. This being said, guys, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching. Remember to follow and sub. I do have a Twitch channel, as I said, follow. There is a link in the description, so check it out. I do stream, or I will be streaming once my PC is actually set up, which should be Thursday this week. So really looking forward to that. Thank you for watching once again, guys, and see you around in the next episodes.